Money from HC Podcast, Bold Glamour Filter Fridays. I know I should be talking about SmackDown, but I think I've digested it enough. Let's talk about what happened at Survivor Series War Games. I have 10 minutes on the clock. Let's go. So you gonna bring me a birthday present when it's my birthday, and it's my birthday with a birthday present when it's my birthday. Happy birthday, Naomi. She did the stink face on Nia Jax like her father-in-law did to everybody except minus the toilet seat. That was amazing. Next slide. Now you know you messed up, right? You know you messed up when you had all of them in that ring and they all ready to fight you. All of that tomfoolery and chicanery you did. This is why revenge tours are not a good idea. Sometimes it's best to just, let people get away with stuff. Although, in this case, you should have just ended it when you got the title and then just left her alone. But that's just me. That ain't none of my business. I love you, Olivia. Next slide. My name is Io Sky, and welcome to Jackass. Guys, whenever she puts a trash can on her head and she jumps off that cage, I go buck wild. Honestly, she did it the first War Games that I think, not the first War Games she was in, but she did it that last War Game she was in NXT, and she's done it ever since. This is a prop, and this is just, it's what you look forward to whenever Io is in the Women's War Games match. Next slide. This is the second time I've seen a Money in the Bank person with a briefcase try to cash in their damn briefcase during the War Games match. Girl, time and place. Next slide. Congrats to Team Binky. Woohoo! Go girls, they won. Next slide. Now, when Shinsuke Nakamura came out and he came out in that mask and everything, I knew it. LA Knight was cooked. He was done. Next slide. Braun Breaker. That's all I got to say. I do want to point out that whole dance routine, the choreo that Ludwig von Kaiser did when his entrance. Honestly, it was amazing. I sat there and I paused it and I had to show it over and over again. I'm like, he went into a full choreo session before he did his entrance. I'm impressed. Congrats to Braun Breaker. Next slide. Never can say goodbye. No. I think we've all learned by now that it ain't over until we see an actual demon versus priest. It's not going to be over, guys. Like, get used to it. Get your popcorn. It's going to be Demon Finn versus Priest at WrestleMania. I'm going to call it now. Like, I know Saturday Night Main Event is tomorrow. They're not going to win it. But this is going to be the next phase in this whole feud after this triple threat. We're going to get Priest versus Demon. Next slide. Before we talk about the men's War Games match, let me just go ahead and just say this. This was great. Now, I don't know if, I know a lot of people were talking about how this was a Sports Center reference, but if y'all have seen that sketch from Key and Peele with Torque, like construction sound, Lewis, and Osmotaz, Buckshank, I remember these names. That's what this was. This was a big nod to Key and Peele, in my opinion. That was just my opinion, especially when we get to this next one. How does one get a doctorate to How does one get a doctorate to that? Next slide. CM Punk comes out in the men's War Games match, and he does what he does best, which is pick a fight with everybody in Bloodline 2.0 in the damn cage. I mean, I guess, but, it's Philip. Next slide. It's about time Roman get his flowers. I mean, it's been almost 10 years, you guys. It's about time you guys see what we've all seen. What even Triple H himself saw. Mega stardom. Next slide. Now, this junk was petty. But you know what? He was the captain, and even Sammy said it if you guys caught the replay of it and they play what they were talking about in the cage. Sammy even said it. I mean, he told me to go next. And, CM Punk's like, I'm going next. No. He said, I got next. And then as CM Punk is getting ready to leave, Roman stops him. That was petty. But, of course, next slide. Petty always matches petty. Next slide. CM Punk, the next time the buzzer sounds, Roman's going to come out. CM Punk decides, no. You're moving too slow. My turn. Roman is pissed, of course. This is all just, it's melodrama. Next slide. Before Roman can get in the cage, Solo and them decide to lock the cage in. I mean, Roman, I knew when they did that, I said, Roman is either going to do two things. break the door off its hinges, which I doubt, or I can almost see it climb. Now, if you've ever had to get a ball out of somebody's yard and you're in your late 30s, early 40s, and you ever had to do it when you were a kid and as an adult now, it's like riding a bicycle. Next slide. So we get to the very end of it. You got OG Bloodline on one side of the War Games ring. You got Bloodline 2.0 on the other side of the War Games ring. Roman helps everybody up. He helps up Jay. He helps up Sammy. He helps up Jimmy. He looks at CM Punk like, I don't give a fuck about you. You know, Cassius, you pick Cassius Ohno. You try to pick Cassius Ohno over me. Like, who do you think you are? But CM Punk stands up and he and Roman are about to have words, of course, and they're about to bicker because, you know, they are. It's just what happens. Next slide. Paul Heyman comes out and tries to remind them, hey, like, there are more important things afoot. Y'all can fight each other later. Like, right now, this is War Games. As soon as he says that, Roman and Punk look at each other. The War Games buzzer announces, and guess what, guys? It's wartime. Next slide. Now, you know, as soon as that war buzzer hit and Alicia said all 10 competitors are in the ring, are in the cage, the War Games can begin. You could tell, like, the switch just got flipped. Jimmy and Jay are ready to crash out. Sammy's ready to crash out. Roman and Punk are ready to crash out. Let's go to war. This, honestly, this to me was a sign that we were in for a treat. I was excited about this. Oh my God, let's get it. So during the match, of course, I didn't get a shot of this, but during the match, of course, this is right when CM Punk was trying to dodge Jacob and Roman was going to spear Solo. He accidentally speared CM Punk. They set up a chair. They set up a table shot for Roman. They put Roman on the table. Big Boy Bronson Reed climbed up to the top, and CM Punk grabbed Roman, pulled him off, and Bronson Reed hurt himself. Get well soon, Big Boy Bronson Reed. But, yeah, it was pretty terrible. Jacob was taken out later. Tama Tonga was taken out, of course. And then, next slide. They took out Tama Tonga. They took out Tonga Loa. They took out Big Boy Bronson Reed. Then that brings me to this. They got Jacob on the table. They had Jimmy climb. And just let me say this right now. Jimmy Uso was the MVP of War Games. He was the MVP of it all. He called the play. He climbed all the way up to the top of the cage, and he did a frog splash onto Jacob, thus eliminating Jacob. Next slide. So this brings me to what I want to talk about. There are several things that I noticed and of course the Honorary Oos noticed when we rewatched this. The first thing that I want to point out is, of course, Jay did say, let's finish this shit. Yeah, let's get this done. Jacob is gone. Jacob is gone. Tama Tonga's gone. Infamous Tonga Loa is gone. Bronson Reed is gone. It's just Solo, Roman, Jimmy, Jay, Sammy the Snitch, and CM Punk. And Solo looked at Paul when he said it. This wasn't supposed to happen. He looked at Roman and said this wasn't supposed to happen. Roman said, no. This is supposed to happen because you did it. You made it happen. And he holds his hands out for a hug. And Jay says to Solo, hug him right now. Solo looks and says, I'm still the tribal chief, though. He goes to spike Roman. Roman ducks it. He eats 2 super kicks from Jimmy and Jay. Then he gets a haluva kick. CM Punk puts him in a GTS. Roman spears him 1, 2, 3. That is the end of it. Now let's talk about the aftermath. As y'all know, Sammy is trying to talk to Roman and say he did help us. Let's give him his flowers and everything. CM Punk said to Paul, I'm going to cash in that favor a little bit later. What is the favor, guys? The favor is going to be a match against Gunther. That is my feeling on it. That is my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. As for the situation, the aftermath next, as y'all know, if you haven't watched SmackDown, Roman has challenged Solo to tribal combat for the Ula Fala at the first debut of Raw on January 6th on Netflix. I do not think Roman is going to win that. I do think we get one more match out of them. Oh, look, and I have 10 minutes left. I can discuss this later. Drink your water, watch your back for chair shots, acknowledge your OTC Roman Reigns, acknowledge the dynasty, and I'll see you guys later.